Welcome to InSight Radio, powered by Vision Science Academy.
From London with Sucheta Mitra.
Welcome to another enlightening episode of InSight Radio, where we envision future of vision science one voice at a time. I'm your host Sucheta Mitra, doctoral researcher at Cardiff Metropolitan University and Education Engagement Manager at Vision Science Academy. And today we have a truly remarkable guest who is a postdoctoral research fellow at the InVision Research Institute, and she investigates different methods of providing augmented reality assistive technology for people who are visually impaired. Our host today graduated from Elite School of Optometry in 2008. She seemingly transitioned from academia to action, joining Shankar Nethralaya as an optometrist, where she initiated and directed low vision care department for a remarkable 14 years. Her dedication transcends border. She organized countless CMEs workshops around the globe to initiate and practice low vision care. She was bestowed the Knight of the Blind Award, and she etched her name in history, becoming the first Indian woman to be honored as the Fellow of American Academy of Optometry in the field of low vision. And she is the first Indian female to pursue a PhD in the realm of vision care, delving deep into the realm of virtual and augmented reality assistive technology in head-mounted displays. Join me as we unravel the life and work of Dr. Sarika Gopalakrishnan, a beacon of innovation in the world of assistive technology for the visual impaired. Welcome, Dr. Sarika.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank Vision Science Academy for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Sucheta.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. Dr. Sarika, your journey from earning a Bachelor of Optometry to becoming a leading researcher in assistive technology is inspiring. Can you tell us about your transition and what motivated to delve into this specific area?
Yeah, thank you, Sucheta, for the wonderful question. Yes, I feel fortunate to be inspired by many researchers and students, especially in the field of optometry. I earned my bachelor's degree from Elite School of Optometry. From the time I was an undergraduate, my principal, Dr. Krishna Kumar, who motivated me to start evolving research in the field of low vision, which was not very well established at that point in the country. So he wanted to do a PhD in the field of low vision, but he couldn't do that. So he wanted me to do a PhD in the field of low vision, first time from the state of Tamil Nadu. And he is the man behind all my success. My CV would say that I was a clinician heading the low vision care department between my bachelor's degree and my PhD degree, but I was doing a lot of research projects under his guidance every day as a clinician cum researcher. So he is the root cause for me to start my research career. He introduced me to Dr. Rajiv Raman, who is my PhD mentor, and he molded me to achieve my first scientific publication in the research world. And if I have succeeded as a global researcher today working with AR devices in 3 different continents, including Asian, American, and European population, they both have the ultimate reasons for creating this confidence in myself. So many times I would think people are known to the world only when they keep up the flag on the top of a mountain. But I would say there are so many talented people in nook and corner of the world who are hidden from the view of the world.
That's fascinating, and your extensive work at Shankar Nethralaya is truly commendable. Could you share a memorable experience or a memory that fueled your passion for rehabilitation services specifically?
Yeah, actually, as I mentioned, there was not an established low vision clinic when I completed my bachelor's degree. So I initiated my professional career as an optometrist at Rural Eye Hospital, one of the branches of Shankar Nethralaya, which is on the same campus of Elite School of Optometry. So one fine evening, again, the principal, Dr. Krishna Kumar, called me and told that I will be the perfect person for initiating low vision care services at the main hospital of Shankar Nethralaya. He could foresee that 15 years ago, and he was the ignition for all my passion and motivation towards my low vision care and rehabilitation services. The belief that he had in me came true slowly, step by step. With the help of my colleagues, Dr. Arun Kumar and Shailaja, I was able to initiate the low vision care services, and with the rapid growth of that department, I could initiate a comprehensive low vision rehabilitation center, first of its kind in the state of Tamil Nadu, to provide rehabilitation and training for people who are low vision and completely blind. The Rehab Center offers orientation and mobility training, computer software training, self help skills, cooking, adult support training, job opportunities. It also provides early intervention services for children with special needs, including visual stimulation therapy, physiotherapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and sensory integration, addressing even the parental counseling part, schooling, and other needs of the children. So, the moment a person is visually challenged, they don't know how to live with blindness. So, we want to change this thought, and this is the reason for initiating the rehabilitation services. So, with appropriate low vision rehab services, any person who is completely blind would be able to do any visual task like you and me comfortably and confidently. This is what we try to achieve.
Amazing. But I believe that everyone faces failure in the path of success. So, what are those challenges that you faced and the strategies you employed towards your success to these services?
Of course, everything will come with the pain. So there is no success without any hurdles. I always think growth happens in an uncomfortable zone for sure. I, as a message to everyone or whatever I have crossed so far in my life, the only quote that I always keep that keeps lingering in my ears is "Awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached," as told by Swami Vivekananda. So, my message for everyone would be: there are millions of forces which would ready to stop your progress, but there will be at least one force in your life which will support in your progress. So catch hold of that string of motivation and keep moving forward. Then the rest will fall in place automatically. Above all, sincerity and hard work is very important for real success.
That's truly fascinating, and certainly we should always motivate our peers. So, Dr. Sarika, as a postdoctoral research fellow, you are at the forefront of innovation. So, how do you balance being a researcher and while also providing your guidance to your team?
So, I always feel it is part of my duty. And being working at Shankhanetralaya, I have always been fortunate enough to participate in 4 pillars of healthcare, as said by our beloved chairman, Dr. S.S. Badrinath, who is the founder of Shankhanetralaya Hospital. So he always used to say there are 4 pillars of healthcare: academics, clinics, research, and community. So since I was in low vision department, I was fortunate enough to take part in all the 4 pillars of healthcare. So I used to take classes for my students. I used to train my fellow optometrists by fellowship programs. And I have been actively seeing patients as a clinician. I also do research from the data, what I do in my PhD and other research projects, and I used to publish. And I also get involved in my community activities during Saturdays and Sundays, working with people who are aged and those who are bedridden. So I initiated something like home-based services. So we used to go to their home and provide them low vision services. That was again first of its kind in the state. We started doing that as a service. So I'm used to all this as a regular routine life of my life. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And if we talk about your journey in augmented reality, and I believe that augmented reality and virtual reality have gained significant attention in these recent years. So, how do these technologies hold promise that it will help visually impaired community?
Of course, technology has been improving by all means exponentially, especially in this decade, no doubt. So, when I started my PhD, there was not much of literature or research works that was going on virtual reality and augmented reality. So, of course, I was truly scared to take this as my topic. But my PhD mentor, Dr. Raji Raman, he gave me enormous amount of confidence and motivation to have this, to try something new in the whole country, because this was not existing in the whole country when I started my PhD. So nowadays, researchers all over the world understand that this is the future of visual rehabilitation. So initially, virtual reality was used in gamings, and if you see movies like Avatar, Narnia, so all these are one of virtual reality or augmented reality stuff. So these technologies started blooming in movies, then games, and slowly it moved to the medical field. And even when it reached medical field, low vision care rehabilitation services is the last for this to reach. So I was the one to try these out first time in the country to understand how these technologies can help people with visual impairment. When I had to explain this to my engineering team, it was truly new for them. They don't even understand what is low vision, and they didn't know how to do all this. So it took nearly 2 years for us to understand with each other and create the first virtual scenario of my PhD project. So it's a lot of hard work. And I see these are going to be the future. For example, if you want to do any kind of clinical assessment, then virtual reality would help you do the assessment in a more safer way. For example, you want to see how a blind person crosses the road. You cannot do that in real world, right? But you can do that in the virtual scenario. So you can do all the virtual reality technology for assessment part and augmented reality as intervention part. This is what exactly I did for my PhD work. So the augmented reality technology would help you bring in image enhancement techniques. So for people with low vision, those who are not able to see a picture clearly, they would be able to use this technology to see things much better, and this will improve their quality of life ultimately.
Okay, so if we talk about rehabilitation services along with technology, there should be a collaboration going on between these two. So who all are those in your study, who are your helping hands in your study? What all departments are involved in that?
Of course. So when it comes to virtual reality or augmented reality, definitely it's a big teamwork. So naturally you need ophthalmologist for you to have patients who are referred from the regular OPD department to the low vision clinic. Then you should have optometrist who would be assessing all these patients and get them trained with the VR technology and AR technology. And you should have a set of engineers who work on programming and coding and creating all the softwares, because naturally, at least in countries like India, optometrists are not expected to do engineering work. So engineers are way different from optometrists. So you need a set of engineers who work on programming these scenarios for you, and you need a set of patients. Those are the ultimate pillars of any research. So they are the backbone and the real success of any project. You should have enough number of people with low vision. Otherwise, whatever research you do is of no use up to me. So, and you should have enough number of trainees and students for you to get assisted.
I believe that to conduct a successful research, you need patience, obviously, but how do you manage to cope up with the sample size, if we say?
Fortunately, in Shankaranatralaya, that was never an issue, because I always used to quote wherever I go in the world. Shankaranatralaya has given me, I used to proudly say in any stage that Shankaranatralaya has given me one of the richest clinical experience in the world. to help more than 50,000 people in my 15 years of clinical experience. So you would see 2,500 walk-in patients every day. So when someone hears it, they would be shocking in any countries that I work now. So every week you would see hundreds and hundreds of people with low vision. So every month we will be having 300 to 400 numbers of people who are seen in the department. I would see there is no clinic in the whole world who would see this number. So number of a sample or participants is never a problem at Shankar Netralaya. And people outside India, they used to call Shankar Netralaya as a research heaven. Because you would have plenty of people who would be ready to participate in these kind of research activities at Shankar Netralaya Hospital. And you have a very good research team and network and social workers who would help us having participants for your research.
Yeah, Shankar Netralaya is truly a research heaven. I believe that as well. So, if we talk about young researchers like me, so what happens is, what do we do if we encounter any specific problem related to our research at the end of the study, when the results maybe are not as we are expecting, or the sample size we haven't got that much? What strategies should we do to cope this situation up?
I think it's a very broad question which would take 2 or 3 days for me to answer. So because
That's the gist of it.
yeah, so it is like a very broad question. It depends on what problem you have. Definitely any researcher would face problem. It doesn't depend on whether you're young or whether you're old enough or a senior or junior person. Every research will have is packed with its own baggage of problems and hurdles. I would see to plan ahead as much as possible to avoid any kind of problems when I'm doing research, especially when I'm doing data collection. I would see data collection is a very, very important process, and which will give you 90% of confidence for completing your research. So you have to plan ahead wherever you're working, that you should calculate the power of the study based on which you will come to the sample size. Make sure you will be able to achieve that particular sample size before doing any data collection. So half of your work is done. So then you will go ahead with your data collection process and other stuff. So attaining results, it need not be as you expect. As a researcher, you should not assume any of your research ahead. You have a hypothesis and you are going to see if that is proved or not at the end of your research. It can be proved or it need not be proven. I would say both positive and negative would not make any difference as a researcher. You should be proud enough to tell that this doesn't work. That will be a learning for your juniors and fellow researchers, and they would try to change the methodology and do their research accordingly. So there is nothing called success or failure based on your results. So have this as a message.
That is a fantastic advice. Dr. Sarika, moving back to our augmented reality side. So many of us take our sight for granted, and how do we as optometrists understand better these challenges faced by visually impaired person, and how does your work bridge that gap?
Everyone needs to understand and realize the importance of our sight. So only when you travel with people who do not have sight, you will realize how blessed you are. So all my works focus on how to help visually impaired people function independently in their daily living activities, which will naturally give them confidence and motivation. So the greatest thing that you can do in your life is respect the people who has visual impairment. Many times they don't need our help. They need equity. Don't feel pity on them or don't insult them. They need to be treated with empathy and not sympathy. I always respect them a lot more than what I think of myself can do. In fact, I strongly feel that if they are appropriately trained, with provided that they have a good quality rehabilitation service, they are much more capable of doing any task efficiently when compared to any normally sighted person like you or me, because their other senses try to compensate in sensory integration, and I have done research on that too. So I really feel, and I would request this society to understand what would be their abilities rather than calling them a disabled person. I never liked that term. So they are always differently abled, in fact, much more talented than normally sighted people. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, that's true. I believe they shouldn't be called as disabled. It always should be differently able.
Yes.
And yeah, that's true. So your work's impact goes beyond technology. So can you shed on light in evaluating functional visual assessment and their profound impact on the community?
I had a lot of ideas when I wanted to really do my PhD work. So, as you said, I was trained enough to be brave to take virtual reality as my PhD topic. So, I was the first person in the country to perform my PhD using VR and AR technology in the field of low vision rehabilitation. So, when we test the visual functions in the clinical scenario, it would not be equivalent to real life situation. So, for example, if you test the visual acuity in an optometry clinic, you will not know whether that is enough for cutting vegetable or doing a household work or mobility. So, functional vision is a vision responsible for you to be able to perform any visual function, and which is not the numbers that we get in the clinic. So, this is when we wanted to test the functional vision assessment in a more real life situation, for which we created virtual scenarios. So, these set of measurements will give us an in-depth knowledge and idea about the current difficulties faced by people with low vision and how rehabilitation strategies would help them function better while performing their daily living activities. So, I would see how far you're able to assess the functional vision in a more real life scenario would be able to help in designing a better rehabilitation methods for them to be helped.
So, Dr. Sarika, you also select athletic teams, and that is intriguing. So, could you share how do you ensure fairness and that everyone get their opportunity and there is a equality maintained between visually impaired athletics?
Yeah, they are not athletes, they are cricket team members. It's called the blind cricket team. Yes, I was fortunate to be trained by Dr. Prema Chande, who is responsible for selecting the blind cricket team of India. As I mentioned earlier, there are different ways of measuring visual function of individuals. One such measure is functional vision score. We call it as FVS. It is a very complicated formula developed by Professor August Kohlenbrander. I'm fortunate to work with one of his students right now at Envision. So his idea of creating this score will involve the measure of visual acuity, central field, and peripheral field. So many times we don't take all these into consideration. So World Blind Cricket Council follows the FVS as one of the criteria for positioning the players based on their visual ability. So, for example, when we have the candidates selected for the team, we assess their functional vision based on having this visual acuity, central field, peripheral field, all this put into a very big formula, and finally we reach the score FVS. So, based on this functional vision score, the players are categorized as B1, B2, and B3 players. This will give you a zone on the ground where these players has to stand. So, creating awareness on these kind of sports will surely motivate people who are visually impaired and talented to achieve greater heights in their life. Many doesn't know that there is something exists like World Blind Cricket Team or Indian Blind Cricket Team. So I always wish to create awareness on this particular topic. And I was so happy to select the Indian Blind Cricket Team in the year 2012, and India won the World Cup on that particular year.
Congratulations on your that achievement as well. Dr. Sarika, your involvement in shaping optometry education policies is also commendable. So, how does this contribution enhance the skills and future of the aspiring optometrists?
Yeah, again, for all the successful stories of my life, I would like to thank Low Vision Care Department, which is the backbone of my professional, academic, and research career. So, I always used to mention that Shankaratala has given me enormous amount of experience in handling variety of patients from different cultures and backgrounds. So, as such, low vision care is a very rare field in optometry that every year very few students would have passion and interest to choose that as their career and would want to get trained to help people with visual impairment. So, since I have experience in helping these individuals who suffer from low vision and blindness because of a number of ocular pathologies, and right from infant, pediatric, adult, and I'm super confident in training my students, fellow optometrists, and ophthalmologists who would want to initiate low vision services in the country. So, I have helped more than 10 states to start low vision services in the country, and I would have helped more than hundreds to thousands of people from different parts of the world to start low vision services. I feel that was my duty, and I feel so proud about it. And whoever wants to get trained in low vision services, I want them to start a good quality practice to perform their best with enhanced skill set. So I have trained people in assessing patients with low vision, refraction techniques, both objective and subjective, and how to perform a low vision trial right from the optical magnifiers, non-optical magnifiers, and electronic magnifiers, then the latest assistive technologies including VR and AR, and based on their patient's primary and secondary visual needs, because you cannot give any device for anyone. It really depends on the patient's life, quality of life, and depending on their visual demands. So I have trained people to understand how the management technique will be and intervention methods should be followed, and how other enhancement training like eccentric viewing training, head scanning training can help people with better quality of life, including the counseling skills. So I think these would really give them a confidence. We also give them a certificate and observation program and a fellowship program for 6 months courses and 3 months courses depending on their need. So then they would go to their particular state or particular country and start rehabilitation services and help millions of people.
Thank you, Dr. Sarika, for your answer. Now, if we talk about skills standards, so what these skills look like? What are those skills you are looking for?
So there is some board called IE LOCS, Indian Entry Level Optometry Competency Skill Standards. That is a big team of optometry professionals in India who ensure that optometrists are well trained and efficient to practice optometry, initiate optometry services, and provide best quality eye care to the needy people. It is not only for low vision, but in general for all the general and specialty services. It was initiated to follow the high quality standard level of education and skills by freshers and young optometrists. It has modules for general practice, contact lens, myopia, low vision, imaging techniques, and other areas of optometry, of course. So I help them maintain best standards on low vision chapter. So likewise, based on my fellowship, so as you mentioned, I was the first female to do my fellowship in American Academy of Optometry in the year 2014. After which I see so many people and so many juniors and students of mine becoming the fellows of American Academy of Optometry. So based on my learning and experience, I initiated something called fellowship program at Mitra. So as I said, it would give a 3-month training period or a 6-month training period depending on what they want. So if they are an international candidate, they would prefer a 6-month training. If they are a national candidate, they would prefer a 3-month training period. So depending on that, they would be doing observation, and they will be doing courseworks, and they will be doing practical evaluation skills along with me, and they will be obviously traveling with me for those 3 months and 6 months in my low vision clinic at Shankaranethralaya. So they would be also visiting the rehabilitation centers and the blind schools for them to understand how to set up the rehabilitation service. So based on this, we improve their skills and training for them to achieve low vision rehabilitation services in their place.
Yeah, these standards definitely set a benchmark for excellence. So, Dr. Sarika, if you think about low vision, it's about fostering empathy, which is crucial for rehabilitation services. And as you have said that many of students doesn't want to go to low vision care, so what can we do as optometrists to encourage them more to go to this path, and how optometrists should explore more in this path?
So I would see this has to start from undergrad process, because everyone, when they choose optometry, they would not know what is their future, including myself. So when I really started optometry, I thought I would be checking the power of people and I would be giving them glasses. That was my whole idea about optometry. But when we are doing a third year or fourth year, we came to know about something called low vision. When you come to know about low vision, you will have other choices, as I said, contact lens, binocular vision, and you will have other professional courses where you can choose your career in the future. Naturally, you will earn more money when you go into contact lens or binocular vision clinic, honestly speaking. So if you see the amount of money you make in the low vision care will be much lesser than whichever you compare on that same platform. So from the time I teach optometry for my undergrad students, I would always see who has so much of passion to help people with low vision. As I said, my principal could foresee in me. I always choose my students who would be the best candidates for performing low vision assessments and management in the future. For them to understand, many would be very satisfied earning money, but not everyone will be satisfied with money, right? Like me. So I would not be satisfied by earning money. I would be very satisfied helping more people. If this is your nature, then I would see you are the right person for low vision clinic. So I choose my fellow optometrists or colleagues. I do interview based on the nature of the people. It is more than your helping nature and passion that will make you a successful low vision professional, unlike any other department. So if I want to choose a person, it is not dependent on their skills, it is dependent on their nature and behavior. So people, those who are not having enough refraction skills, I would train them and get them the art of doing refraction. I always used to say in any of the lecture that I take. So, but if you don't have passion for helping people, I cannot inculcate that nature in you. Does it make sense? Yeah.
And
So that should be an inborn character or nature for you to help other humankind.
Yes.
So if you are really ready to help other mankind, then you are fit for low vision clinic.
That's definitely true, and we need to work more towards being an inclusive society, and education and awareness is the key.
Exactly. So what I do is usually I take my fellow students who are in the third year to rehabilitation centers and I make them do some awareness campaign in the rural areas, so that they automatically come to know that they have so much of interest in helping people, and they come forward and tell me, "Ma'am, I want to work with you in the low vision clinic." So this is how you raise awareness about the low vision.
Yes. And Dr. Sarika, you have spearheaded the low vision services and research AR. So what is the driving force behind this commitment, and how do you create more accessible and comprehensive solutions?
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
No worries. So you have started low vision care services and you have researched AR. So what is the driving force behind this commitment to create these accessible and comprehensive solutions?
So, Shankar Nethralaya has my beloved chairman, Dr. S.S. Batrinath, who had so much of trust in me that I will be able to handle such a big department of low vision care in a very young age and stage of my career. So he is a legend who initiated Shankar Nethralaya Hospital in the country and has provided the best quality training for millions of ophthalmologists and optometrists who are working worldwide currently. He wanted to wipe the tears of visually impaired people all over the world, which was taught to every one of us. So he inculcated the idea in me so strongly, which made me initiate the most comprehensive rehabilitation center in the country. So, because not everyone knows how to live with blindness, especially in countries like India. So, as eye care professionals, we need to take responsibility in spreading the awareness and provide rehabilitation at the right time to save many lives. I see rehabilitation is not for saving vision, it is for saving life. So, we are on a mission towards eradicating blindness from this world. So, as a part of rehabilitation, comprehensive rehabilitation services, I feel VR and AR has a significant role in it, because without technology, any rehabilitation will not be complete. So, we need to have the latest augmented reality technology and VR technology as a very low cost to help millions of people who are suffering from blindness and low vision.
Yeah. And in this world of tech novelties, how do you ensure that AR solutions remain user friendly and inclusive for these individuals who might not be that tech savvy?
Yeah, nowadays, like everyone is using smartphone. When you hear AR devices, yes, there are several models and millions of versions of it. But most of the devices that are used for visually impaired is based on a smartphone. So it is much more easier while compared to operating any smartphone. For example, nowadays there are two generations of AR devices in general for me to explain. So the first generation device had a lot of problem in connectivity, speed, and there should be more number of buttons and functions, which would make anyone to get confused very easily, and it will not be user friendly. But the second generation devices are really fast, very easy, and user friendly. And nowadays there are voice commands, like if you say switch it on, like how you have Alexa, like that. So if you say zoom in, it will zoom in for you. You need not even touch any buttons. It is that advanced now. I'm working with one of the AR device which does this. So you have to say change. It will change the mode, and it will, if you say just read, it will read out anything for you. So it is that easy. So I really appreciate the improvement in technology, which is more and more these days, and which will be helpful for any people. Usually I get the question of how old age people are getting tech savvy, or how they are able to manage all this. I would say the maximum age that I had as my participant is 92. So he was so happy, and he was able to do with all the 3 different AR devices that I have. So even in my UK phase, I had a person who was 90 years old. So everything is possible.
Yeah, our goal is to make technology a tool for empowerment and not a barrier.
Exactly.
Yes. So becoming the first Indian woman to earn FAO is extraordinary. But what message do you have for the young women out there who are aspiring to make their mark in vision science?
So there is an old Indian proverb which says, if a male is educated, only he is educated. But when a female is educated, the whole family turns educated. So I would like to add my words to this proverb as when a female is educated, the whole country can be educated. So myself being the fellow of American Academy of Optometry, as I said, I initiated fellowship programs which helped millions of people to get trained, through which I could train so many people like optometrists and ophthalmologists from Nigeria, Malaysia, Mauritius, Bangladesh, not only from India. I'm saying about all the neighboring countries who would wanted to start rehabilitation services in many places like hospitals, army camps, and different places, even like rural areas like villages. And so I wanted to spread my knowledge and training so that it helps more number of people. So as per my progress, many of my students are fellows of AAO now in the past 10 years, and I always promote education for girls, and I wish them really don't stop until your goal is reached. So as I said already, my message to the young woman would be, please be staying connected with the researchers or optometrists, whoever you want to be as your role model. So make sure you don't hesitate to write any emails or develop rapport with new people. Networking is everything, and that will give you everything you wish for. So I wish them all the best to have great achievements in the field of vision science.
Yeah, embracing challenges and pursue your dreams relentlessly. Dr. Sarika, thank you so much for joining us today. Before wrapping this session up, would you like to share any advice to our listeners?
I think I had so many messages, so I'm just confirming what all message I want to say. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone noticed that there is a huge gap between the latest technology and the perception of any devices from the end user. This is why many companies are not very successful in spending so many billions on a device and which is not finally liked by any end user. So I'm trying to work on this gap to understand which device would suit best for performing visual tasks, and this is my research on postdoc. For example, a person who is able to do a painting or an art stuff will be really happy to use any device which is hands-free and which is user-friendly for them. So I really want these VR and AR companies to think on a direction which would be really helpful for people with low vision. Because many times, as I said, there can be both positives and negatives in any of the technology. So today, world is moved by technology, and most of us can see only the top of the icebergs. There is still a huge glacier underneath the sea which is unseen yet. So this is going to be a revolutionary for sure. So I request all the researchers and the manufacturers in the world to concentrate only on the positive aspects of this technology, which can promote better quality of life of people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarika, for this advice. And your journey is a true testament to the potential of technology to transform lives and the importance of compassion in driving innovation. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and inspiring with us today.
Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. And thank you, Sucheta.
Thank you so much. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of InSight Radio. Stay curious, stay inspired, and join us until next time for more captivating conversations. Until then, remember that technology has power to illuminate the path ahead, even in the midst of darkness. Thank you for watching. If you found this episode valuable, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Never miss an episode.
InSight Radio. One vision, many voices.